chanting loud. We want Spyder's, CFL's Red-Zone. Hit it! Spyder, Spyder, here comes Spyder, CFL's Red-Zone. Hit it! Spyder, Spyder, here comes Spyder, CFL's Red-Zone Rule. Hit it! In the red zone.
There you go. Spyder is back. This is in the fall, okay? And the reason I'm back for 29, and I said I was going to be signing out into the fall on my last session 28 that I haven't put up yet on YouTube. I believe, yeah, I have. I'm sorry. But my son hasn't put up on Facebook page yet. Is because it's the first day of the regular CFL season of 2019. Regular CFL season, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the helm of Tiger Cats for their opener. Good luck, Mr. Bob Young, the caretaker, and your Tiger Cats. And I thought it would be appropriate today to end for the summer, because it is summer now, it's warmed up, finally got the heat off. Can you imagine? We don't get springs, like I said. It's nice to not pay for fuel. You know, and we get an Indian summer in September in Halifax, believe it or not. So anyway, I want to move on, and because I want to just be more low-key today, because in the last few sessions I get really riled up because I get so upset because I know what the real facts are, the real truth versus, somewhat, opinion, and somewhat, being manipulated and not told the real truth of what's really happening in the CFL. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm telling it. I'm telling it the way it is, calling a spade, and giving you the facts of what's really going on in the CFL. And you know something? The CFL is missing the big boat here. They're missing the major market in Canada. That being the Raptor fans. Tonight it'll be they're moving the game up a half hour, but everybody be tuning in to the Raptor game, sixth game, and not the CFL. And I'll tell you why, because look at the Raptors, their popularity. Look at NHL hockey. Look at Major League Baseball, the Jays. MLS soccer, very popular. Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, NFL, huge. Why? Why? And where's the CFL? Where are they? They don't even exist in that list. They're down at the bottom. People don't even care about the CFL. Why? Why don't they? Well, the CFL, you're missing the major sports market in Canada. And I just said what the major sport market is. Fans watch those professional sports leagues and those professional teams in Canada. The Jays, the Raptors, their NHL, the Maple Leafs, okay, the Canadians, and MLS soccer, Toronto FC, so forth. So you're missing the boat. Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, okay? The Winnipeg Jets, okay? The Ottawa Senators, and so forth, okay? Why? Why are they tuning in and supporting and watching and going and filling their stadiums, sports fans, in those professional sports leagues and in those professional sports league cities in Canada and not the CFL? Well, I'll tell you why. They don't have a Canadian Players Association and a Canadian ratio that's running their leagues, okay? So what I'm going to spell out today is what the CFL season would be today starting if they would have made serious change, like Ambrosi said they were going to, and they didn't do anything. Mainly because they're being run by the Canadian players and the Canadian Players Association. Like I said, the C in the CFL is 3 C's. Canadian Players, Canadian Player Association, and the Canadian Ratio. Football League. That's the problem. And I'm just going to tell you what would be happening today if that wasn't the case. And these necessary needed changes were made. So this is a very, very important last addition, okay, before I sign out for the fall. And I'll be back and hopefully have a lot of goodies for you on my CFL Red-Zone Rule, because there'll be probably a lot happening by then. And I'm going to keep you updated on my Facebook page. My son's going to be putting up some, he's going to try to do some screenshots, because I'm doing redoing my PDF copy of my CFL Red-Zone presentation I made to the CFL and the Commission of 2018, January 31st, 2018. And I'm also going to make a hard copy for Mr. Bob Young, because I didn't do the optional provision part, although I did add a recent session on that, because that was in my main presentation I made in part 2 in my YouTube session, okay, that I made to the CFL. But I'm going to have a hard copy, and I'm going to surprise Caretaker, and he's going to be able to sit down with it and really go over it. Because with my special edition I did for the Caretaker, the owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you know, I'm sorry, I'm being timed out by even the older technology video cameras, and the newer, the same thing, 27 minutes, just like now, and that's all I had. And I had to try to cram everything in. I didn't even put the optional provision part in that I really wanted to, but I couldn't, because I timed what I wanted to do. Just, I mean, on a basic, I normally don't rehearse them, but that one I just timed to see if I could get what I wanted to get in. I had to take out the optional provision part. That's why I sent it to email, especially to the Caretaker, Mr. Bob Young. But anyway, I wanted to include it, but I had to basically speed talk it, like I was talking to my son about it, and I did. I went a little fast on it, but I'm sorry to get everything in that I wanted to get in. But I apologize to the Caretaker and to my CFL Red-Zone Rule fans out there on my special edition to the Caretaker, but I had to do it that way. So you can always play it back, okay, but I'm sorry, because I went a little too fast on it, but I apologize for that. Now I just want to get back to my son, the preseason game, Calgary Stampeder game. He went to his friend that's NFL, doesn't watch the CFL, like most of his ball, the guys he plays ball and hockey with, they don't watch CFL, they only watch the NFL. So he took his friend that plays ball with him to the preseason game, and the first series, Calgary march down, they get in the red zone, and what happens? Another boring 2-down football stop, resulting in another boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal. Okay, that no one wants to see. And my son said to his friend, "There's Dad, Spyder CFL Red-Zone Rule," which, by the way, he's really sold on, and said he would watch CFL football and go to CFL football games live if my CFL Red-Zone Rule was implemented and made part of a CFL 3-down game. That's how powerful my CFL Red-Zone Rule is. And just like all his other sports people he plays baseball and hockey with that he introduced it to, they all said the same thing. Just like all the 350 people I surveyed, just like Steve Armitage, who was fascinated by it and stamped to prove it. Okay, and these are people, these are good people that really know, that watch all these other sports leagues, professional sports leagues, okay, in our country, and the reason they watch them, which I explained earlier, and they're really intelligent. They're not like the little niche market that the CFL have, you know, which is the old school CFL fans, and basically the CFL ratio blockers, you know. That's such a small niche of a market, and that's why there's so many empty seats, and that's why their TV ratings are way down. Eastern Final, Western Final, down 50 and 30%. Grey Cup last year at Edmonton, down 1 million viewers. This is the reason, okay? They are missing the major market, the major sports, sports fans that they desperately need for CFL fans, or they have no possible way ever to grow the CFL 3-down brand. But football, but they need to make necessary needed changes. And they need to be able to control their own league. The owners, the CFL got to be able to control their own league. They need to abolish the Canadian starter handcuffing, dictating Canadian starter ratio. They need to bring down the Canadian Players Association and they need to make other necessary changes, and they definitely got to bring in a new rule, okay? A new rule that's going to eliminate the two biggest turnoffs and killers of a CFL 3-down game in the red zone. That being so many, repetitive, boring, unappealing, second down, 2-down football stops in the red zone. We can call them 2-down football stops in the red zone, or second down stops, same thing. And eliminate all the boring, distasteful, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goals in the red zone with Spyder's CFL Red-Zone Rule. That rule has to be made part of the CFL 3-down game. All they've been doing, bringing in challenge flags, making our game unwatchable, flags thrown all over the field, people have been shutting off, walked away from our CFL 3-down game. It's unbelievable. So the CFL has to make some necessary changes. So can you imagine if the CFL started 2019 season tonight, if there was no Canadian starter ratio, which the owners didn't, they want it gone for 2019. And look what happened. Nothing happened. And then Ambrosi said you were going to make, that the CFL needed to make necessary change, okay? And you didn't do anything. So you can imagine if the Canadian starter ratio was gone, and the huge guaranteed Canadian roster ratio was gone. And like Dave Dickinson the other day, when he was talking about the cuts he had to make, he had to send half his top American receiver. Well, basically, what it was 16 Americans were sent home, and only the cuts, and only 6 Canadians, okay? So all those preseason where there was no Canadian ratio, all those top American receivers that he had to send half of them, more of them home, okay? Practically all of them. 16 cuts, right? Better American O-linemen, he had to send them home for weaker, guaranteed Canadian ratio players and guaranteed Canadian roster ratio players that have no business being on a team. A lot of them couldn't even make a practice roster in the CFL team. And they're starting and they're on the CFL roster, making up half the roster. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? It's unbelievable. That can't be happening anymore. So imagine if you had the CFL season starting with that wasn't happening. So CFL teams can recruit the best available players at training camp, right? And pick the best available players, okay? And start the best available players and have the best available players on their roster, okay? Can you imagine the difference with the CFL? Because now it's perceived as second-rate minor league, like a farm league too, 1-year contracts. Because of you Canadian players and Canadian Players Association, keeping, and Ramsey, you guaranteed Canadian ratio alignment, and because of you and Ambrosi, you didn't do anything to change it. That's why you got them handcuffed, the coaches, okay, and the GMs. You got them handcuffed to with your Canadian ratio, okay? That's why it's unbelievable what's happening. But it has to change, and it didn't change. And what's going to change this year? There's going to be less people in the stands, less people watching. And they raped the CFL and their CBA deal, and raped them, and took more money than they can't afford, putting the owners more and more debt. So it's unbelievable. So can you imagine if you had a CFL starting today that had no Canadian ratio, period, gone. The owners wanted it gone. The best players on the field, just like the NHL, just like NFL, just like Major League Baseball, NBA, and yes, MLS soccer. Best players starting and best players on the roster, the full roster, and the best players on the practice roster. Okay? Can you imagine what the CFL could be? And with the best rule in football, my CFL Red-Zone Rule, that the NFL cannot steal, because it will not work with NFL 4-down football, but will work unbelievably and perfectly and naturally, like it's tailor-made for a CFL 3-down game. And you watch this year, just like my son witnessed the first play, tonight too, every CFL game, you're going to be looking at this in the red zone. This boring, repetitive, unappealing 2-down football stops in the red zone. Okay, the only time they ever use the 3rd down is on the 1-yard line. They won't use it on the 5, the 4, the 3, or the 2. Okay? They won't. They'll kick another boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal. That's what you're going to be seeing. when you could be seeing, okay, on second down, if they're stopped, with my CFL Red-Zone Rule, they play exciting CFL 3-down football to try to score a touchdown. And if they're stopped in third down, still maintaining possession of the ball and stay in the red zone, okay, they get rewarded with my Spyder CFL red zone kick from the 35-yard line. But not an automatic 3 points, okay? And by the way, that's not 4-down football. 4-down football would be if they could fake it. And it wouldn't be from there anyway, okay? It's kicked from the 35 because they earned that. They get rewarded, okay? Because there's an enforcement rule, to use my CFL Red Zone Rule, okay, that they have to use the third down if needed to score a touchdown in the red zone. So they get rewarded with my CFL Red Zone kick, okay? If they maintain possession of the ball and they'll get forced outside the red zone on third down from the 35. But it's a much more challenging, more exciting, adds more drama, just like my CFL Red Zone Rule adds so much drama, it's unbelievable, and the excitement. And it's the entertainment value of it. It's what it would do for a CFL game. Can you imagine the field? Can you imagine the field, too? Like, outline, the 20-yard lines, okay? The 20-yard, I got it right here, because that monitor wouldn't even show anything. Okay, over there, it wouldn't pick up anything off the TV. Can you imagine? Can you see that? Oh, boy, I missed. Not very good, am I? See if I can blow it up better. Can you see this? There. See, wouldn't that be beautiful? Imagine that on the CFL field. The 20-yard line outlined in red and the 20-yard line itself outlined in red. I'm going to have to bring it over that way for you to see it because the light's shining on it. But can you imagine the field all dressed up like that? And the graphics that they could use, TSN. When they're in the red zone, they throw a CFL Red Zone Rule graph tagged with a sponsorship tag for more revenue for the CFL and their owners and TSN. Can you imagine? Like, right over top, and the excitement and what the field would look like, and the excitement live at a CFL game and on HD TV, it would be unbelievable. And then if there's a CFL Red Zone kick, they can do the same with a CFL Red Zone kick graphic over top, the 35, okay, with another sponsorship tag to generate more revenue for the owners in the CFL and TSN. They get a piece of the pie. And they're also, the buzz, the merchandise sales for Spyders would actually, I would give it to them, okay? It wouldn't be Spyders, it would be the CFL Red Zone Rule, okay? Hats, CFL Red Zone Rule, merchandise, CFL Red Zone Kick, merchandise, hats, sweaters, t-shirts, everything. Can you imagine the money they could, the revenue they would pull and the excitement around this launch of my CFL Red Zone Rule if it was made part of a CFL 3-down game? It would be unbelievable. Can you imagine if it was being launched tonight? How much more people would be tuning in. They actually would be tuning in and maybe flipping it from the Raptor game. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. That's how big it would be. We're staying tuned and we wouldn't want to go off. It would be so exciting. The drama. It's so innovative, my CFL Red Zone Rule. And the drama in the red zone, the excitement and the buzz, and what it will bring to our game for the entertainment value. It's unbelievable what it will do. And between the red zones too, the big, huge plays, passing plays, they're trying to get down near the red zone to play exciting CFL 3-down football. Okay, if they get in the red zone, to score touchdowns, okay? And defensively too, it would be unbelievable, the drama and the excitement defensively, okay? Say the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight were, okay, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, my CFL Red Zone Rule, okay, and they're usually have to use the third down to score a touchdown. They didn't score in the first and second in the red zone. And the excitement, the Tiger Cats defensively, if they could stop them to prevent from a touchdown being scored, okay, on third down with my CFL Red Zone Rule. And even better if they could force them outside on third down, preventing the Spyder CFL Red Zone kick or the CFL Red Zone kick. Can you imagine the excitement? Not only offensively how powerful my CFL Red Zone Rule and impactful will be, but as powerful and impactful defensively as well in the red zone. It's unbelievable what it would do for a CFL 3-down game. Can you imagine if this was all implemented and made part of a CFL game, okay, starting tonight in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field? I hope you're listening, Bob Young. I hope you listen to this one. And I'm gonna get a radio blitz out starting when I get everything. My son and I want to get up on Facebook, hopefully for Father's Day, and then hopefully next week I can start my radio blitz. I already have it done, okay, and I'm ready to go. And I'm going to blitz every CFL major city right across, okay. So can you imagine if these major changes were made? And they've got to practice more than 4.5. There's got to be a minimum 6.5 hours. Come on, a game. A day, because our game of three-down football is more complex game and a much harder game to grasp than the NFL game. So, but here's what you need. You got to practice, okay, not the bare minimum or less than 4 point. That's just ridiculous. 6.5, that's counting meeting sessions and half the travel time. Okay, you need the best available players. You got to get rid of the Canadian starter, old school handcuffing, dictating Canadian starter ratio, and abolish also the guaranteed Canadian roster ratio to allow the best available players to start and play at every position for entire CFL game, like every other professional sports league can. And you need to bring in the most unbelievable, the most powerful, the most exciting, the most entertaining, most exciting new football rule in all of football and in CFL history and all of professional football, and bring in my Spyder CFL Red-Zone Rule. So you need that combo. And you need better branding too. The CFL needs much better branding. They got to have their team logos at center field. Come on, a naming right partner. If they do like Hamilton, I hope they still have that. Have it. The Tiger Cats, way to go, Mr. Bob Young. Tiger Cats team logo at center. If naming right partner going to be on that part of the center field, be on side of it, like in Hamilton at Tim Hortons Field. But also, Mr. Bob Young, I hope you're listening. You got to have your Tiger Cat logos in the end zone, and there needs to be a dress-up policy that mandatory that every CFL home field is going to be the same. Off limits, okay? It's off limits for naming right partner logos to go at center field. They can go alongside of the CFL home team logo. That's got to be at center field, and their team logo's got to be also in the end zone. And the CFL, you need to change that logo. It's too dull, and you got to get a new. Go back to the old logo. Tweak it a little bit, make it a lot more colorful. Okay. The NFL logo is very colorful, okay, and get rid of the white lines on the ball too. My God, they look ugly. That's amateur. That's nothing against high school football, college, but that's amateur football, not professional football. Change the color. Have our CFL football look like this color, okay, and that it shows much better on the screen, okay, and have a logo that stands out on the CFL football without the white lines. They're ugly. Get them off. So the branding has to be much better, okay? You need Spyder CFL Red-Zone Rule, the best football rule in all professional football, implemented into our CFL 3-down game. That's a natural, by the way. It's tailor-made for a CFL 3-down game. And you need to get rid of the Canadian starter ratio and the huge guaranteed Canadian roster ratio. You need to be allowed the best available players to play at every position for an entire CFL game, okay? And you need to have the best available players starting and on the roster and on the practice roster. It has to happen, like every other professional sports league can. And then the CFL would have an unbelievable product tonight to launch and introduce. Can you imagine the excitement around this launch, what it would be? Can you imagine that? And that's what has to happen. That's exactly what has to happen. And I'm glad I'm going out this way on this session, to tell you the truth. And I'm just going to end with that. Sorry for the monitor dull. This one you can't even see it so bad. It's the very dull lighting in here. It's been a very dull day. It was brighter early, but actually too much light and so forth. And my last session was dark too. So it is what it is. I need side lighting. This is an amateur set. I need a professional set up. But I'm going to go back to my old set in the fall. I'm going to see you in the fall. I'm going to be, like I said, working on my Facebook page with my son, getting a lot more up. There is a few things coming down the pipeline that I can't talk about. I just want to mention the Atlantic Schooner thing that LeBlanc was on a podcast the other day, because Global News was talking about how he's only got 500 tickets or 700 tickets sold, and how the prices are outrageously overpriced. when I went to Touchdown Atlantic, it was 29 lowest price in the end zone to 75, okay, and or 82 I think with taxes, I think whatever it was, and his prices are the lowest in the end zone, 78 to 183. Can you imagine? He's trying to gouge everybody, and he talked about, because people are complaining about his little Mickey Mouse dinky little half of stadium for, can you imagine, for a CFL franchise in Halifax? It's a joke. And he says, oh, people are trying to get smart and they're being negative. What do you mean being negative? They're not stupid. They kind of want to sit in a piece of little crappy little dinky little stadium like that. You know, like one side that's half a stadium, the other one benches and outhouses. Come on, it's not going to fly. And Touchdown Atlantic's not going to fly. You got another 16,000 seats to sell. You're not going to sell them. He said he's going to relaunch. Oh yeah, what is he going to do, drop the prices? No one's going to go, and I'm not going to support the Atlantic Schooners either unless a real model CFL stadium is built in Halifax. I will support it. So that's it, and I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you in the fall. In the fall, I'm going to tear everything down. It's a funny looking set. I like my original set better, but I just want to do something a little different from my last session. So I want to say thanks for watching all my YouTube sessions. I really appreciate it, and you know, and I hope to see you. I hope everything goes well, health-wise for all of us. I hope to see you at the Grey Cup game, 107th Grey Cup in Calgary, and hopefully I can get enough exposure out there that we can imagine we make history in the Grey Cup game in Calgary, chanting loud in the Redzone, or at a live CFL game this year, okay? Chanting loud, live in the Redzone. When you see more boring two-down stops in the Redzone, resulting in more boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip-chop field goals, I want to hear you chanting loud in the Redzone. We want Spyder CFL Red-Zone Rule. We want Spyder CFL Red-Zone Rule. Take care. All the best to you. Have a good summer. See you in the fall. Check out my Facebook page and my YouTube channel too. All my YouTube sessions are.